Hey Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now, and today we're going to get into a mailbag video on a Saturday, which means tomorrow is actually the first day of the Eagles 2020 season with Week 1 against Washington. So a lot of Washington-related questions I'm going to go ahead and answer for you guys here because you're in the mood to talk football because it starts tomorrow, so get pumped for that. Let's see. Tim says, how much of the Eagles offense will go through Sanders, Ertz, Goddard on Sunday against the Washington football team? I think a lot of it. Now, I think the passing game is going to be a lot more prevalent than it was the last time these guys matched up in Week 15. I know Carson Wentz was Week 17. I know Carson Wentz was really good that week. 30 of 43 for 266 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's going to have a very similar stat line, I believe, on Sunday. But I think the passing game becomes a little bit more of a focus than the running game because the running game was the main focus there in Week 17 because the Eagles had very few weapons to go ahead and throw to. I know, a very good catch there at the end by Greg Ward and J.J. Whiteside did some things and Goddard was good as well. But the main focus was Miles Sanders, and I think hopefully we see another big Miles Sanders day like we saw again at late December matchup Week 17 where he had 122 yards on the ground and 50 receiving touchdowns. You asked about Goddard and Ertz. I mean, Ertz was really good in Week 17 as well, as he always is against the Washington football team. So the main basic question here is where will the offense go? They'll spread things around. I think Carson Wentz is going to, throw the ball a lot more just because he has better targets on the outside, including a healthy Deshaun Jackson, and obviously year 2 for J.J. Whiteside, and really year 2 for Greg Ward actually being a starter. And this Redskin defense, or I should say the Washington football team defense, in 2019 was suspect. I mean, they were 31st in yards per game in terms of rushing. They were 28th in passing yards per game. They were 27th in points per game. The only thing they were decent at was their turnover differential, so you got to be mindful of throwing interceptions if you're Carson Wentz, but this is a defense that you can go out and attack, and if they're getting a little pass rush on Carson Wentz, turn around, hand the football off to Miles Sanders. That's the thing they're going to do as well on top of passing the football a lot. Listen, Eagles offense is going to be balanced. I think that they're going to throw a lot more like they did kind of more in Week 1 last year versus Week 17 when Deshaun Jackson had 2 touchdowns, but all rely on Miles Sanders. He can be a big factor in the passing game, but you'll see him in the running game as well. Drop a like if the Eagles are winning on Sunday, right? Like, the Eagles are going to win. If the Eagles don't win this game, I mean, panic. But we think they're all obviously going to go ahead and win, so go ahead and drop a thumbs up on this video if the Eagles are going to go ahead and win. Speaking of winning, I'm telling you guys, great sales are still going on with the new season, new gear happening at chatsports.com/Eagles2020. Pick up a plethora of Eagles stuff. That way you look good and are ready to rep the Eagles week in and week out. How good does it feel on a Monday to wear Eagles gear after a Sunday Eagles victory? You see a bunch of different Eagles gear flashing on your screen right now. Again, chatsports.com/Eagles2020, the link down below to pick it up, look fresh, and be ready to rock. I know I'm in my Eagles gear. I'm telling you, Mondays after a Sunday win, especially a big Sunday win, Eagles gear has got to be on, so pick up your fresh stuff right now, Eagles 2020. Let's see. Jeremy says, please respond. What do you think of our wide receivers, 1 to 10? I think they're good, Jeremy. I mean, listen, you don't have to beg me to respond. I'll respond to your question. I think that they're good. I've said before, it's the best wide receiver core Carson Wentz has had in a very, very long time. Now, obviously, there's some injuries going on right now, and so they got to get healthy. Alshon Jeffrey, Quez Watkins, once they get those guys back, they're going to be a lot better than where they're at. But a healthy Deshaun Jackson changes this football team completely. I mean, he creates so many more one-on-one opportunities for J.J. Whiteside and Greg Ward and John Hightower. I think having Jackson back out there, if he can stay healthy, is absolutely massive, and that's huge. So 1 to 10, like a 7 or an 8. I think that's pretty good. I mean, last year you're like a 4 or a 5. This year 7 or 8. It's a big jump overall for the Eagles wide receiver core. Before we go, let me just quickly plug this in here. We just hit 13,000 subs here on Philadelphia Eagles Now, and I just wanted to thank each and every one of you guys because we started at 0. I built it all the way up, and now we're at 13,000 subs, which is unbelievable, and I appreciate from bottom of my heart to you guys. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead, but for all of you who did, I appreciate each and every one of you. Trevor says, what's your prediction for Week 1 against the Washington football team? I mean, it's pretty simple, right? I mean, if you look at the overall lines here and what we're looking at for the 1 o'clock kickoff on Fox, the Eagles are like 6-point favorites the last time I checked. Over-under is like 42.5. It's kind of moving a little bit down, I think, right now. I think a lowish scoring game. I don't think either team gets over 30. My prediction's simple, 24-17. I think Philadelphia wins by a touchdown. Washington has presented interesting matchups. The last year where they played twice. Week 1 they got ahead and the Philadelphia came back. Week 2 Eagles had to come, have big fourth quarter drives. So I think the Eagles win. I think Washington is going to be annoying in this football game, so the Eagles are going to win 24-17. Give me your predictions down below, by the way. I know I asked that yesterday, but I still like seeing where you guys are feeling at for this Eagles game, so let me know down below. Isaiah says, I think you should sign another left tackle because Jason Peters can't stay healthy. Well, Peters really can't stay healthy, and I would agree with that, but right now I would say no. The Eagles have their plan to be, with the backups that they have, whether that's moving Matt Pryor to left tackle or Jordan Mailata or Jack Driscoll going to right guard. Like, they have their backup options in place. I hope Jason Peters can stay healthy. He's proven that he can in some seasons, and in other seasons he can't. I think they'll be okay. Again, the O-line is starting to scare me a little bit, but they're not going to go sign anybody because there isn't anybody. They'll sign somebody if Peters actually gets hurt, which is hopefully not going to happen. Big play Slay. Who do you see stepping up the most from the wide receivers? That's not named Deshaun Jackson because you know what you get from him. It's easy to say Reagor or Whiteside or Quez Watkins whenever Reagor or Hightower or Quez Watkins whenever he comes back from IR. But I think J.J. Whiteside and Greg Ward are going to be the real number 2 and number 3 on this football team. And they should be, right? 2 years in the offense. Greg Ward, practice squad, and now he's going to be an actual starter. I think they both flashed at the end of the year. Not a lot, because it was like they were balling out. I mean, they had some good moments, but the stats weren't that great. But I think both of them are the guys I'm looking at to go ahead and step up besides Deshaun Jackson. And whatever you get from Reagor and Hightower and the rest of them is, to me, just icing on the cake because they're so young. Who's your wide receiver leader, the stat leader on Sunday? Let me know in the comment section down below. Reagor, Deshaun Jackson, JJ, I think Whiteside, Greg Ward, let me know. I'm just curious what you guys are thinking about on this one. Let's do one more here. We got time for one more. Quarterback Josh McCown signs with the Eagles to become oldest practice squad player in history. They need him back. This team is going nowhere. Dump Sudfeld. This makes no sense. Okay, let me just break this down. They did not sign Josh McCown because they're worried about Carson Wentz being injured. They did not sign Josh McCown because they don't like Nate Sudfeld or even Jalen Hurts. They signed Josh McCown because COVID-19 is real, and if it were to run rampant through the Eagles, you could see multiple quarterbacks out for the week, maybe 2 weeks with COVID-19, and in that case, you need somebody who at least understands the system and the playbook. Guess what? Josh McCown does. Plus, Carson Wentz said they wanted to bring him back as a coach, and now he can be in those quarterback meetings. He can be coaching Carson Wentz just like he did last year. That's all he was last year. He was a coach who unfortunately had to come in a playoff game and nearly won the game, by the way. So, will he play? No. But he's there in a worst-case scenario situation. Maybe this team is going nowhere. This is $12,000 a week, which in NFL money is nothing. It's like you getting paid $120 a week to just sit on your couch and do nothing. You would obviously take that deal, but it's not going to change your life around. But it's there in case the worst happens with COVID-19, which I don't think will happen, but still could happen at some point because the NFL season is very, very long. There are 17 weeks plus the postseason, and you got to have a backup in place. This has nothing to do with Carson Wentz. It has nothing to do with Nate Sudfeld. Nothing to do with Jalen Hurts. It's just to be smart with COVID-19. I'm surprised more NFL teams have not done this. So miss me with this whole, this is dumb, he's too old, why would you bring him back? It makes sense if you use your brain and think about it. COVID-19 can be a real problem in terms of wins and losses this year for NFL teams. The teams that handle it the best, the teams that have the less cases, have the least amount of guys sitting out, are going to be the ones who win more games. That's just a fact overall. All right. Well, that's me out for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Want to jump into a mailbag video. Obviously, get you ready, get you hyped, answer your questions before Week 1 tomorrow, 1 p.m. I'll be tweeting all about it on my official Twitter account, @RealThomasMott. Give me a follow there. Hopefully, Philadelphia wins. I think they will. 24-17 is my final prediction. All time we have for today on Philadelphia Eagles Now. I'm your host, Thomas Mott, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.